Wow. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm praying that you hung in there with us. I pray that you got the message that I sent, that we were having some tech issues and almost called it a night, and then it jumped right back up. I don't know. I'm not a tech expert, but I'm grateful for the fact that it just came back on. So I am glad to be here. So let me just start over for those of you who may just be joining and that will join in a few moments or even watch the replay. Welcome to Mondays in the Meditation Room with Dr. K for Midlife Musings. I am so excited about our safe and sacred space for all things enlightenment and empowerment for Black women in midlife. Not the crisis and chaos midlife, but the redefining, awakening, reimagining your life, the opportunity for rebirth, to live your best life even right now. So I'm glad. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Happy Monday. And I'm also saying happy for me pre-birthday. I'm on the eve of my 60th birthday today, and I'm so excited. There's something about this birthday that I cannot explain that has been so transformative for me, and I'm so just gonna go with the flow and receive all that God has for me in this season. I don't think I was this excited for my 50th birthday. So something new must be happening. And I'm grateful for this brand new rebirth. So welcome. Come on in. Take a deep breath. If you're like me, I needed a moment for a breath with all of this tech difficulties happening. But I want to go with the flow and just breathe in and breathe out and trust that spirit has everything under control. So whether you're watching now on replay because you were here right at 8, like what's happening, where's the broadcast, I'm so glad that we're still able to broadcast so that you can then watch it in the replay. So I'm just take a moment because I love our Mondays in the meditation room theme. It just helps me chill. It just has a vibe all by itself. So go ahead and invite a sister to join you on tonight on the Enlightened Woman Facebook page, on the YouTube channel, Kelly B. Hayes, wherever you are joining from. Come on. And then don't forget to put your notifications on so that when this happens again, right, you can just get the ding to say, come on back. Come on back. And so tonight I'm really excited. Hey, Crystal. So excited that I have a special guest on tonight. Woo-hoo. And she has been just so calming for me, going with the flow too for tonight. And when we got a chance to restart and do it again, she's willing and able. And so I'm going to bring her back up. Thank you so much, Crystal. Go ahead and reach out to your sisters and say we're back on. I know we're a few minutes, but I believe we're right on time. So whenever sisters sign on or whenever they watch it, they are going to be blessed. So I'm going to take a few moments. One of the things that has really been so wonderful for me in this season, what I've been calling my journey to 60, is tapping into and embracing who I am. Ah, it's so freeing. It's so wonderful. And when I thought about talking about the power of authenticity, because for the entire month of April, we've been talking about permission granted, giving yourself permission, right? And we talked throughout the whole month about giving yourself permission first for the rebirth. In this new April season, give yourself the opportunity to embrace a new season in your life. Then we talked about giving ourselves permission to step into our power. Yeah. Then permission to surrender, and then permission to be whole. So we talked about that all month of April, and what it began to do for me is saying when you're giving yourself permission to do those things and to live your life, because guess what? Nobody holds the power in your life except that which you give. And sometimes we hold ourselves back. And so we really wanted to talk about that. So, not just permission to do all those things, but permission to be yourself. So love our guest. I'm going to introduce her and then bring her on the platform so we can have a wonderful conversation tonight. So hang in with us and don't leave. I'm so excited. I hope you saw my post. That's why I was like, oh no, I put it all out there on Instagram and Facebook. And so I'm excited that we get to move forward. So my guest is the beautiful Dr. Trinace Richardson. I'm going to read some of her bio and then I'm going to allow her and her presence to just introduce herself to our community on tonight. She is an internationally sought after keynote speaker, singer, award winning educator, yoga instructor, and author. She has recently been featured on the Netflix special Voices of Fire, produced by superstar artist and producer Pharrell Williams. With over 20 years of leadership experience in the public and private sectors, Dr. Richardson is a highly respected leadership researcher and practitioner. I love to read the bios of my sisters because it's just wonderful to see all that they have done and accomplished. Hey, Sister Max. Hey, Sonia. She has spoken to and sung for audiences across the country, inspiring individuals and helping businesses, churches, and civic organizations excel in the areas of personal and leadership development. She has an innate ability to connect with diverse audiences across various disciplines. Dr. Richardson, this I love to say, recently earned her certification as a registered yoga teacher at Shabbat Yoga in Southern Maryland. She leads groups and individuals in yoga flows weekly, both in person and virtually. She is called to help others better understand the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual benefits of practicing yoga, and I am a witness. She's a lover of learning in all things academic and has earned a Master of Divinity degree from Howard University and a doctorate in higher education administration from the George Washington University. Her dissertation focused on the impact of spirituality on the leadership practices of African American women college presidents. She's a published author, having written on servant leadership, spirituality in the workplace, leadership, and personal development. Her latest co authored work entitled Purpose Pushers: The Journey of Discovering and Walking in Your Life's Purpose is now available. And I'm going to this part, Dr. Trinace, I couldn't wait to say this. She is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and recently traveled to Okinawa, Japan to be the keynote speaker for their International Sisterhood Retreat. She is honored to be the wife of Gregory Richardson. They have two beautiful children, Naya and Nigel, and live in the DC metropolitan area. Oh, come on, enlightened women. Will you welcome and celebrate with me um, Dr. Trinace Richardson? Yay, 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 yay. Thank you so much for your Monday evening, sharing it with us here in the meditation room. And sometimes people are like, why do you call it the meditation room? Because it literally is my meditation room. This used to be my son's room before he moved out. And I told him, dude, you're gone. I'm going to take over. We painted, right? Have my yoga stuff on the walls. I have my yoga chair, and then I have my meditation chair, have all of my little accoutrements for my special sacred space. So this little, he came back. He was like, "Wait a minute." I said, "I told you I wasn't kidding. This is my room." So we call it that because it really is the meditation room. And so we have some sisters. They're saying, "Welcome, welcome, welcome."
Thank you so much. It is so good to be here. And, all of the technical difficulties, I just saw it as an opportunity for us to exercise surrender. God
Yes.
was let's just learn how to surrender. And as soon you saw it happen, as
Soon.
soon as we surrendered, God was like, okay, now.
Y'all would not believe. Literally, we had just had the phone call, and I said, "Well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen on tonight." And we were like, "Let's just believe and trust that this, is all right, and we'll circle back." And
Mhm.
literally, as soon as I hung up, I went to do something, hit the thing, and it came right up. I said, "Well, all right, let's try again." And I'm so glad, so glad, so glad. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I love your space. I think it's so important that we make space for our being poured into, allowing God to pour into us, allowing quiet and stillness and meditation. And oftentimes we're trying to get it in the, if we haven't made a space, we're trying to get it in the bathroom or, when no one's around but to be able to create your own space so that you have a hiding place, a place to go where you can just release. I love that. I love the meditation room. And I've been in here as a guest and have loved it. So I'm so happy just as an attendee. So I'm so happy to be
Yeah.
in a discussion with you tonight.
And I don't take it for granted either. I have a space for do you believe it or not? I showed the women some time ago. I got
Uh-huh.
I found this. Do you believe I found this beautiful? This is a meditating Barbie
Oh
doll called Breathe With Me. I have named her Serenity. I love it.
yes, and the fact that she's chocolate. Come on.
And I tell you, and I love it. You turn up, you hit her little necklace, and she says, "Breathe with me."
Oh my goodness. No, so let me get mine then. Hold on. Y'all just gonna have to bear with us because this is gonna be a little bit of show and tell. And so my favorite thing, and this is so crazy, but this goes along with our theme, because my favorite animal I really relate for some reason, for some crazy reason. Everybody asks me why, to frogs, Reverend K.
Really?
And I love them, I think, because of the process that they go through and
Mm,
the fact that they are the underdogs. Most people don't
yes.
like them. And so and of Princess and the Frog, all that kind of stuff. I think growing up that had something to do with it. But I really appreciate their process, their
Mhm,
maturation, and
mhm.
because of that, I love frogs. I love I'm not afraid of real frogs. I know a lot of people are, but I said that to say all throughout my office you will find.
Wow. Oh, look at that, a meditative frog.
They're cute. And look, so I just went and picked up all of them. This one is meditating as well. He's doing yoga. This one is doing yoga.
Oh my God. How did you find yoga meditating frogs? Oh,
So I'm living in my
unbelievable.
I'm living in my authenticity. I like both, and I got them surrounding me. So
I love it.
mhm,
So that, and I'm gonna tell you because I want to jump right in because we usually only do anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes, and
mhm,
I want to kind of stick with that. But I just believe we can get what we need in these moments, and
absolutely.
I'm grateful for that. One of the things that I wanted to ask before we move forward for everybody
Mhm.
who just read the bio is absolutely amazing. In this season of your life, who would you say that Trinace is in this season in your life?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to answer your question directly and then follow up. I am light
Mhm.
and I am a bridge.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. I am light and I am a bridge. And my additive to that is that there was a time and it isn't too in the far distant past that I would add a whole lot of words to that I needed to explain. We start off by describing ourselves with our roles. That's how we
mhm,
start process. I'm a mommy and I'm a wife and I work here and I do this. We start a lot with our doings. And then when we get to the place where we start talking about, I'm loving and I'm compassionate and I'm gracious and I would love to serve. When we start talking about ourselves, I feel like we feel like we have to add a whole lot so that we feel comfortable with embodying and embracing who we are. And
Mhm.
I've just gotten to the point where I am unapologetically light.
Mhm.
And that has taken a long time to get to because I dimmed my light for so long.
Mhm.
And if you can imagine, many of us, and all of we have so many sister friends in common, and the women who are in the meditation room, all of us are working really hard and really accomplished women, and we all feel like we have some growing to do. So, same for me. I've always been accomplished, but I've always felt like I was still making space for other people and accommodating them and dimming my light to make them feel more comfortable around me. So someone would say, girl, that was amazing. I'd be like, oh, that was nothing. That was,
Yes.
oh God, that was, girl, you look amazing today. Oh, that came from the thrift store, girl. That won't nothing. That we'll dim it. And it can be as simple as those kinds of things, or as deep as not stepping out into the deep of whatever God has called us to be and do. And so I just decided, I'm not going to explain. I am light, I am light. And I needed some explanation time for myself to justify how I can sit in that and be comfortable and not worry about what people think about afterward. And so I went to my word and I found that, I come from light, that God is
Mhm. It's like,
right.
yes.
And so since I come from light, I am light. I am called light by God. And as a result, I will not dim my light. So I am light. And I'm a bridge because I'm helping others understand, where we are or where we have been and where we can still go. And a
Mhm.
lot of that for me has been, you mentioned my yoga journey, for example, that is taboo to a lot of folks.
Mhm.
And I have only found God at my mat. I really have only found peace and peace of mind
Yes.
and peace in my spirit. It has been a calming, like what we just experienced, what happens in normal life would sometimes take me over the top. And I have learned to just, like you just said, Dr. K, and you invite us to do whenever you're on, just breathe. Because what yoga calls us into is connecting breath with movement. And so I'm a bridge to help with those types of things where we're trying to find who we are. We're talking about authenticity. And some of those parts of who we are so deeply embedded that we have to excavate and dig.
Yes.
So I'm really hopefully helping us do that as a bridge.
I absolutely love it. And that is so true that women very often default to not receiving what is really the truth about what the person is saying to you. Sometimes
Mhm,
not the truth, but receiving those compliments or those insights or how you have just impacted their lives. And I learned that lesson
mhm,
by our mutual friend, Dr. Vicki Johnson. She says, when people
mhm.
say things like that to you and it's true, say, yes, it's true. Thank you. It's like, yes, you're so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Yes, it's
Mhm.
true.
I receive it. My favorite way, I receive it. I take it all in. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes,
And I'm
absolutely.
learning to say that. I love that too. I receive it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Just say, I just, whatever was being said, I would say, thank you. I
Yeah.
received that. Thank
Yeah.
you. And that's
Because
a blessing.
if you think when someone is pouring love on us,
Hmm.
and we don't receive it, if we say something to diminish it in some way, we are repelling it. We are repelling the light and the love that people are giving to us. And so I believe it's just it is God showing us God's hands and God's feet and God's voice using people to pour love into us. And why wouldn't we receive that, you
Why
know?
would we receive it? So
Mhm.
it's a part of unlearning a lot of things. So one of the things that as I was trying to decide what I wanted to talk about on tonight,
Mhm.
and I said, "Oh, I want to talk about authenticity." Now I have notes in my phone and specific things that I write down that I hear from other people.
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that came up when I thought, oh, authenticity, after we come off of that, talking about giving ourselves permission to be whole, to surrender, right, to step into our power, how authentic are we? And I was going through my readings on my phone.
Mhm.
I have some notes of things that I kind of use in my
Mhm.
devotional morning time. And when I went to the goddess retreat that Vanessa Elam did, and you were
Mhm.
doing a presentation, one of the things
Yeah.
I wrote down on my phone was living living a duplicitous life saps
Mm.
all your energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is in my phone. I said,
Mhm.
"Ooh, yes." And I
Mm.
read a lot of Howard Thurman. And one of the things that I also have in here from one of the readings, Meditations from the Heart, he says, I seek your will in order that I may be whole in
Mm.
inward parts, and that there may be no conflict
Mm.
between the good I see and the good I am.
Woo.
Thus, no conflict between my inner and my outer.
Woo. Mhm.
Right. You just feel, you just.
Selah.
Ah, oh, and so my response to that, I wrote this prayer: God, help me to live whole and in harmony in my innermost being, so
Yeah.
there is no conflict between my inner world and my outer world. So
Yeah.
when I see me, there is only me, the
Yeah.
image of God as me.
Woo.
But I have to say that wasn't always the case. There was
Mhm.
always this trying to be something that I thought I needed
Mhm.
to be accepted or to be affirmed,
Mhm.
all of the above,
Mhm.
and had to go through. And that is so true for so many women.
Mhm.
When you think about that statement that you made
Mhm.
and Howard Thurman, what would you say, or how would you even define, if there's really even a definition, but what you think about authenticity and what it is to you?
Yeah. Um, I've been working so much on simplicity, just the idea that any idea that is complex that or deep or profound, um, we should be able to integrate it into our lives in the simplest form. So I'm going to do my best to describe what I believe authenticity is in one word,
Mhm.
and then I can elaborate.
Yes.
Alignment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That when we are aligned,
Mm-hmm.
when our outer
Mm-hmm.
matches our inner, as Howard Thurman said, it does a couple of things for us, right? It allows us to conserve energy for
Mm-hmm.
things that are more important. If we could think about the amount of times that we have wrestled, let's just start internally in our minds. If I do this, what will they think? And if I do that, what will they think? And I want to do this, but maybe I need, if I, maybe I need to ask. I've thought a million times over. I've been married for 23 years. So one of the things is, okay, instead of just having a conversation with my husband, I thought, okay, when and how should I do it? And when should I?
Oh my goodness,
All
girl.
that stuff, right? It's just exhausting, right?
Mhm.
And then when you think about church, just it's exhausting. So, what are the right and the wrongs to do? And it used to be as simple for me as what I'm supposed to wear and what I'm not supposed to wear, or as deep as what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not. What is going to tick people, the least amount of people off. Just all of
Mhm.
those. And so figuring out who I am,
Mhm.
what I believe, I call it unpacking. And
Mhm.
so we all carry some baggage around with us, right? And so to unpack it and to begin to figure out what pieces
Mhm.
am I belong to me and what pieces have I picked
Mhm.
up that belong to somebody else that aren't mine.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so being able to do that distinction allows me to carry less, a lighter load.
Mhm.
I'm able to pack lighter when I'm only carrying my stuff, what I believe.
Yes.
And it takes work. It really does. It takes really pausing to find out, what do I love?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna tell you, Reverend Kelly, it went so far. I went through a whole year where I wore my hair curly like this
Mhm.
because I wore it blow dried and straightened and for a while processed
Mhm.
because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. That I thought that's how I look my prettiest, and I didn't look as pretty if it wasn't straight. I love to wear my hair straight. I still blow dry it sometimes, but I took a whole year and didn't blow dry my hair, didn't,
Wow.
because I came to love this big hair right here, and decide that it's something I want. So when I went to a party or when I went to church, the
Mhm.
inclination was I need to dress up, which means I need to straighten my hair.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
oh, yes. Mhm.
There's just something about us as women that innately, based on what we've seen around us and how we are conditioned, we're ready to conform. And so the least amount of energy is conforming to who we really are.
Yeah.
That conserves the most amount of energy. The second thing I'll say about it is, so this is alignment, it
Mhm.
conserves energy. And then the second thing I'll say is it increases our potency.
Love it.
Authenticity increases our potency.
Mhm.
So the more of me I am,
Mhm.
the less diluted I am.
Mhm.
So I don't know if anybody likes ginger ale, and they say,
Yes.
if you really want to drink ginger ale, you're supposed to drink Canada Dry. That's what they say.
Mhm.
But if you a real ginger lover, somebody ought to help me. You're gonna try some ginger beer because ginger beer,
Oh, that's my favorite. I go to restaurants and say, "Do you have some ginger beer?"
yes, ginger beer is even more potent than your
Mhm.
strongest ginger ale. The idea is the more potent something is, the more of it you get, right? So I love the idea that my family, church, friends, my job, everyone around me is getting more of me. It takes less energy and it allows them to get more of who I am when I figure out who I am and align with it. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And
Mhm.
I am so enamored that you use ginger beer as a an example because I am a ginger lover, period. And now I won't want to say anything with ginger in it, but
Sure.
I have ginger chews. I got lemon and ginger
Mhm.
tea, all the variety of ginger teas,
Mhm.
and ginger beer. Oh my gosh. And it is the the pure form.
Yes.
And if we could just get to that place where it's the pure form of it, that is just like you said, the potency of it, the
Mhm.
pure it is, the more potent it is. The
Mhm.
less stuff that's mixed in with it that you call
Mhm.
diluting. And the unpacking piece was so powerful because what I found is that after a while, you just get tired and you begin to ask yourself questions
Mhm.
so powerful
Mhm.
that you start your journey to
Mhm.
yourself with
Yeah.
to help you align, to help you embrace yourself,
Mhm.
to be yourself,
Mhm.
because it's absolutely you flow better. You're not trying to figure it out or fix it. You are just being yourself. And
Yeah.
it can be very painful because people are used to you being who they need you to be or want
Mhm.
you to be or expect you to be.
Mhm.
And can you just speak a little bit too? Because I don't want the women to think, just one day you wake up and, I am my most powerful, potent, authentic, undiluted self, and I'm ready to move forward. But that journey is arduous
Yeah.
and painful, and you kind of lose something in some people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's worth it. Uh,
Mhm.
can you talk a little bit about your journey to getting to that place where nothing matters? It's kind of like you choose um, what your discomfort will be, because
Mm.
someplace there's going to be some discomfort. It's just which one is it? Am I going to be discomfort by being myself,
Mm.
or am I going to be in discomfort trying to be something I'm not?
Yes. Wusa, right? So it is authenticity is a practice.
Oh, that's so good.
It is a practice. It is um, a conscious way of living. It's a
Mm-hmm.
collection of choices.
Mm-hmm.
Every choice is an opportunity to do it more like you than you did the last time. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with choices and with practice comes hardship. Just like if you're practicing yoga or you're exercising, it doesn't feel great at first. It doesn't feel
Mm-hmm.
great. And I have personally experienced that. My first go to is yoga, and I could use a whole lot of other examples. I'll start there. Um, because I come from a very traditional Pentecostal, wear stockings, no makeup,
Mm-hmm.
no pants at church, and all of that. I come from a very traditional background, that it was embedded within me that if it was not traditionally in my circle, in my sphere, then it probably was not of God, because I was exposed to only what was of God. And so I had a lot of aversions to yoga and anything like it, just in my mind and in my heart. And it took someone connecting it, because of course I I can do a whole thing, to talk about yoga, but for me, it started with the health and the fitness benefits, and it moved into the opportunity for me as a Christian to practice yoga as a spiritual practice as a Christian. And so, because I started in that place and began to share the health benefits of it, really just and really oblivious to the fact that some people can just be mean, Kelly. Some people are just mean spirited,
Mm-hmm.
and so and self righteous. so so the way in which people communicated concern to me seemed very unloving, and they gave me all of their scriptures and all of their explanations about why they felt yoga was wrong and wrong for me. But it was done in a way that I would never have received whatever you were telling me. And God forbid you were trying to get me saved, because you wouldn't have done it that way.
That way. Mm-mm.
It wouldn't have happened that way. So I have lost friends.
Mm-hmm.
I have lost folks who respected, admired, loved me as a preacher, a teacher, all of those things, because they felt I was going, another way. It really frightened them. To some, I think they're scared of
Mm-hmm.
what they don't understand, or and rather coming to me to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that when you move in authenticity, that it will rub people the wrong way, because as you said, you are not being to them what they have always needed to be. You are not showing up for them in the ways that make them comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are uh, an expectation of shedding of people can happen. Um, I think you can also expect that as you are moving and in different places, you may experience, I don't fit
Mm-hmm.
here anymore, wherever that place may be. I don't fit as comfortably in this box as
Mhm.
I did before. And I think we put a lot of people in boxes. I think we put God in a box
Mhm.
and God cannot be contained in that. And if we have God, which I believe we do all up in and through us, then why would we expect others to be put in a box? The beautiful thing about that is instead of dwelling on what I have lost and who I have lost and what has had to be shed, on
Mhm.
the other side, as you shared, on the other side of loss is a lighter
Mhm.
and a lighter.
Mhm.
Literally, you get lighter and
And
you get light.
mm, so
And
good.
yes, and so there's a freedom on the other side. And what happens is you find out who really loves you for you because you're not pretending anymore and
Mhm.
you're not performing anymore. And so you really get the authenticity. I have a sister girl circle right now that's so tight. And what blesses me is I'm able to share my strengths and I'm able to share my flaws. I'm able to share what's going well. And without judgment, I'm able to share what I'm struggling with and get real support.
Mhm.
Um, and, you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. On this side of freedom,
Yes.
I
Yes.
wouldn't trade it for anything.
That is so powerful and so good. And thank you so much for sharing that because when women are on this journey, especially women who are in midlife, I didn't even ask, I don't know where you are on that continuum, but for women whose lives are starting to take that turn,
Mm-hmm,
um, embracing themselves is one of the most important, and I'll
mm-hmm,
dare even say the most foundational thing you have to do in order to soar into any next season of your life,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
whatever that's going to look like for you.
mm-hmm,
And that's why it was so empowering or so important to me to talk about the power of authenticity and what that really means.
mm-hmm.
It's just, I love how you define it in that one word, aligning. And
Mm-hmm.
that's alignment within and without, so
Yeah.
that, there is nothing that's sapping your energy. Because we talked about that in the meditation room, that you have a certain amount of energy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And to get wise enough with yourself to
mm-hmm,
realize that and then begin to choose what you do with that energy.
mm-hmm,
And that
mm-hmm.
whole piece, what I love about the transformation that happens both physically, I mean, it's scientific, literally, that our brain almost rewires to a new
Yes,
season
yes,
where you are prioritizing your well-being.
yes, yes.
And for women to feel and know that it's absolutely okay
Yeah.
and that you will survive whatever shedding
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Can I say one more quick thought
Of
about that?
course.
When you just reminded me about how that alignment takes place, because a lot of times we'll hear something like that, and it sounds easy to say and not as easy to do, right? So for me, I recognize that parts of me were being stretched, that I was stretching myself over here to accommodate you and stretching myself
Mm,
here and losing myself in the stretching,
mm,
right? That if you were to ask me, what I was doing for the day, it would be for everyone else and there wouldn't be time carved out for me. Or if you ask me, what my self-care looked like, I would not be able to answer that.
mhm,
And so for me, I have found that alignment comes in slowing down,
mhm,
just really slowing down and getting quiet and still, being in a place like a meditation room,
mhm,
and getting still enough to assess my inner. So what happens is, I believe inside of us we have an inner knower
mhm,
that we are either very in tune with
mhm,
or not. And we, Holy Spirit this gives us discernment,
Mhm.
all of that spiritual inner knower that's wrapped up. You can, call it sacral energy, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
It's in us.
Mhm.
um, and and I believe we should and can trust it
And
instead of
trust it. Yes.
looking for it out here.
Mhm.
What should I do? And who should I talk to? And what counselor should I have? And what book has all the answers I needed? And we're always looking out here as if the answer is out here somewhere. When those things can be complements to confirm our inner knower,
Mhm.
trusting, getting to know it so that we feel when something doesn't feel right, we honor that.
We honor it.
Honor it when we have peace in our spirit. So when things are settled inside of us, we honor that, because what we do when we do that is we remember, we
Mhm.
bring our come back to ourselves, we remind ourselves. You said reprogramming, literally our DNA.
Mhm.
We reprogram or remind ourselves, and then we begin to speak differently, and we call it again, we say different things, we talk to ourselves differently, we speak to ourselves differently. It starts with us trusting ourselves and getting still.
That is so good. I'm telling you, we're getting ready to close, y'all. We're gonna have to do a part two.
Mhm,
It just is so phenomenal because we have literally, as women, been victims of a collective consciousness of abuse in terms of so disenfranchising women that
mhm,
we don't trust our own voice because we've been made to feel like we're not intelligent, we're not smart,
mhm,
we can't make decisions for ourselves, we're not good at this, we're not good at that, and that has become a part of our conditioning, the thing that we have to unlearn and
mhm,
shake off and shed so
mhm,
that we begin to trust ourselves and
mhm,
trust that inner knowing and trust that voice. So many women second guess ourselves and our decisions. And so that was so good. We
mhm,
have to get quiet and listen to our inner voice, our inner knowing, and then trust her. Because once
mhm.
we do it, and I think that's the fear for empowered, aligned women.
Yes.
Because when we know who we are and we
Mhm,
trust that inner voice and we tap into things, that can be fearful. But people don't have to be. I shouldn't say people, but men don't have to be
mhm,
afraid of that because we also have this innate thing to want to bless everyone around us, our
mhm,
communities, right?
mhm,
Our families.
mhm.
And that when people operate from fear, they don't see
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you lose nothing when I'm empowered and I
Yes.
walk in my power.
And a
And
part of my light and my power is my softness. A
mm,
part of my light and my power is, the part that allows me
mm,
to give and
mm,
surrender. It's a part of my light to do that, because
mhm.
because it's when I choose and
It's
when I
yes, that's what I was going to say. When we choose, and
Mhm.
it's so much sweeter when we do.
Yep.
But all of us should be allowed that existence.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it is possible and it's doable, but it's a process. So
Yeah.
you have to be compassionate and kind with yourself um, as you do. That's why I love Tony Jones' song. She says, "Talk to me nicely," but she's
Mhm.
literally talking to herself, saying,
Mhm.
you talk to
Yeah.
me nicely, talk to
Mhm.
yourself nicely." I love it.
Mhm.
I thank you. You have dropped absolutely so much. I'm gonna watch it again too. It has
I
been,
enjoyed this.
oh my God, just amazing, and conversation that needs to be had, and women
Yeah.
need to hear it to know that they're not crazy and they're not alone.
Mm-mm.
I'm telling you, uh, for yesterday on Sunday, between my husband at 6 a.m., Pastor Miriam Niles at 7:45, and Dr. Vicki Johnson at 9:45.
Woo!
That, mm,
Those downloads, Lord have mercy.
Yes,
You
Lord.
you
We just keep
supposed
telling
to
everybody, just
overflow.
go back. Just go back and listen to it over and over again. And
Yeah.
what a blessing. And now I'm adding you to that cadre of light
Well, I am
women.
so honored and happy birthday! Yay!
So
Celebrating you all
yes.
month long.
Woo. Yes. Look, I'm even going to the end of the year. There's just stuff that I want to do as part of my celebration for turning 60. It is a major milestone, but I'm telling you, eventually Spirit is going to give me the words for it. It's just something
Mm,
churning on the inside for me for this particular milestone.
mhm,
And I'm just feeling it completely different.
mhm,
And I'm just going with the flow and just
mhm.
receiving it all and just expanding. So it's just all year long. I'm just going to be
Well,
so.
can I tell you this? Can I tell you, I see a glow on you
Mhm,
and a blossoming. There's even like a peace on you
mhm,
that whenever I see a picture or I just feel like I have to smile and
mhm,
maybe compliment Go Girl because it's just a glow and a peace on you
mhm.
that shows that you are blossoming. And I'm just so
Yes.
grateful
Oh,
to be with you in this season.
oh, thank you for sharing that. And look, and let me add the sermon that you blessed and gifted us
Mm,
with for our sisterhood day. I
mm,
think, just from there, I just the word, because it's exactly
mm,
what I want to say this globally women need.
mm.
Globally,
Praise.
we need to hear it because we
Mm,
are connected all together
yeah,
as women. So, and in particular for us as Black women, I'm just grateful that we're getting this decolonized
yes, yes,
word that's
yes,
freeing us up. I
yeah.
laughed. Crystal is on, one of our partners in Real Power, and after service, she looked at us and she was like, "Y'all are like aliens." And Dr. Vicky said, yes, yes, we are.
I receive it.
I receive it. I receive it. So thank you so much for joining me in
Thank
the
you.
meditation room on tonight.
Mhm.
And y'all they already saying thank yous. Folks are saying thank
Thank
you. Amen. And I'm looking forward to when I'm doing it. I know that throughout the week and throughout the month, more and more women will listen
you.
exactly when they need to listen
Yeah,
or watch, and they leave comments throughout the month.
yeah, yeah.
And so I'm just grateful, and I thank you. And
Thank you, sister.
I'm looking forward to getting back on. My Saturdays have been so busy, so I got to get back in online so I can partake in your class. I've been doing it mostly with my Peloton app because I can
Oh,
kind of do
good. I love Peloton. Yes.
I can do it, my
Mhm.
yoga and all of that when my schedule allows. So I'm looking forward to it. Look who just, as we get ready to sign off, just jumped on. Hey, Pastor Vita McCoy. She's jumping on to my hey everybody. The woman who
Hey,
sang us
y'all.
to the roof. I cannot tell you, it
She
was
set
one
it
of
off.
the best. She sang both services, her new single, All Things Are Possible. Just
It's been
woo.
blessing me. It's been blessing me, Reverend V. Yes, yes. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you so much for the broadcasting of it all. I've been able to catch pieces and I'm going to sit back. I was in a conference this weekend and some of those sisters are in here too. So, hey, y'all. Thank you for
Yay.
tuning in.
So thank
Absolutely. This is a space we all need to be in. You asked me, and I know we have to go. I am just a couple of I'm knocking on 50's door. So I'm right here with you, ma'am. I am where
you.
I'm supposed to be.
I love it. So we're looking forward to more and more. And for thank you for being a light.
Mm,
Thank you for being a bridge.
mm, mhm,
And the half has not yet been told of all the women that you're going to help set free. So thank you
mm.
for
Oh,
being your authentic self. We love you.
I
We
love
love
you.
you all. All right, EW Tribe, we love you. Have a restful, peaceful evening. Don't forget, just do your nightly ritual to help you get that good rest and sleep that you need. And we'll see you next time. Remember, next week we're not on because I'm just gonna be out enjoying and celebrating my birthday weekend. And so we'll see y'all in the new month of June. Have a
Woo!
good one, everybody. Good night.
Bye.